The Fist Destroyer, a warship repurposed for covert missions, cut through Atlantic waters. Cold wind howled across the deck as a handful of figures gathered inside the briefing room. The smell of salt and machinery hung heavy in the air. At the head of the room stood the colonel, a hardened veteran of war, once a pilot in the Brazilian Air Force during World War II. His eyes, sharp as steel, scanned the mercenaries before him. On the table lay a map of Kiruna, Sweden, marked with notes. 1 month ago, he began, his voice steady, authoritative. A hunter spotted cyborgs infiltrating an abandoned iron mine near Kiruna. Soon after, radiation levels surged by 1,000%. If this continues, the area will be uninhabitable. A pause. The map rustled under his fingers as he slid it towards the team. Your mission is simple, he continued. Find out what's causing the radiation, neutralize it if possible, and identify the cyborgs, why they're here, what they want. The room fell silent, orders understood. Outside, on the aft deck, the wind whipped against the hull. The Sea Fist, a heavily modified CH-124 helicopter, sat waiting for deployment. Inside the cockpit, Libra, the squad's pilot, adjusted her flight helmet over her balaclava, which obscured most of her face. Time to go, boys, she called over the comms. The mercenaries filed into the cabin. Phantom, a soldier marked by Vietnam, leaned back against the seat, lighting a cigarette. He exhaled slowly, the ember glowing in the dim interior. For fuck's sake, why the hell are we flying with a damn muscle car strapped to the chopper? He muttered, eyes narrowing at the wooden crate holding Legion's Dodge Challenger. I don't know how you did things before, but a SEAL doesn't waste time like this. Kick down the door, shower of bullets. That's how it's done. Libra pulled the flight controls slightly as she took off and maneuvered towards Kiruna. The aurora borealis flickered in the sky, casting an eerie green glow over the mountains below. She cast a quick glance at the readouts, adjusting for turbulence. Not sure how Legion convinced the colonel that his car is mission critical, but here we are. Also, Phantom, get that damn gun out of my cockpit before you start throwing dinner invitations my way. Phantom smirked, flicking his cigarette away. You better keep that on the calendar, baby. I always make it back alive. At the back of the cabin, Legion, the squad's recon specialist, checked his gear, securing the pistol at his side. I figured they wouldn't let me bring the car, but it seems the colonel was adamant about having me on the mission. Try not to wreck it when we land. Phantom turned towards Legion, sizing him up. Legion, huh? What's your unit, brother? Not gonna lie, your ride is badass, but what's the deal? Recon and surveillance, brother. My first year with Fist. Whatever I go, the Marauder goes too. Non-negotiable. Next to him, Scalp, another veteran, remained quiet, pulling the chain on his dog tags into view. The metal reflected briefly in the cabin's low light. Served in Nam too? Phantom asked. Scalp nodded. Unfortunately, yeah. Scalp raised the bottle of brandy. To those bastards who fought by our side. He tipped the bottle to his lips, then passed it over. Phantom accepted it without a word, taking a deep swallow before handing it back. Phantom exhaled sharply, then leaned forward. Vietnam was hell. My platoon got wiped out. All because I couldn't pull a trigger on a kid. That choice haunted me. And now I see things. Things that happened. Things that will. And things that never do. Scalp took another slow swig before speaking, his voice measured, steady. MK Ultra, the CIA broke minds trying to build weapons out of men. Torture, drugs, hypnosis. Most didn't survive, some of us did. You think this is just war stories? Look me in the eyes and tell me I'm lying. Across the cabin, a bald man in a black suit, hands resting lazily on his lap, ink creeping from beneath his sleeves onto his fingers. 3 vertical slashes mark his forehead, like remnants of a forgotten ritual. And despite the turbulence, despite the mission ahead, he wears that grin, wide, knowing, like his in on some grand joke no one else has figured out yet. Phantom gruffs at the man, skeptical. And you, brother, what's your deal? You don't really look like you've seen much combat. More like you'd be slipping my wallet out of my pocket. The man smirks and answers. Good eye, you wouldn't be wrong. Name's Giorno, that's my street name. Giorno chuckled, then leaned forward slightly, fingertips tracing the armrest. Up until a few days ago, I made a living scamming tourists. Then someone caught on, offered me a job instead of throwing me in a cell. Told me to train while the mission got sorted. Didn't really mention I'd be stuck with such fine company. Libra laughed through the comms. Approaching Kiruna, boys. You're up. Looking outside the window, Giorno muttered. From dust we come, to dust we return. Hope none of you have allergies. The sea fist descended, skimming the treetops. The mission had begun.